shit hot. Oh, I'ma light the shit up. Yeah, I'ma make the shit hot. Oh, I'ma light the shit up.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to What If Naruto Was the Ultimate Uchiha, the movie. Yeah, I'm cheap. I'm doing what everyone else started doing. At first I thought, I'm better than that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not better than that. Anyway guys, I hope you do enjoy this. Go check out the Discord down below. We're trying to bring it back. We're getting new members, new features. Check out the thumbnail maker, Dyslexic Dolphin, also down below in the description. And yeah, if you're wondering why this ended like it did, because it's setting up for a new series. Other than that, guys, hope you do enjoy this What If. Peace out, guys, and bye. Enjoy the film. Go get your popcorn. This is What If Naruto Was the Ultimate Uchiha. I know, I wanted to do What If Naruto Was an Uchiha for ages, and Snapchat, go out of there. But you know how we do it different around here. So it's What If Naruto Was the Ultimate Uchiha. Basically, it's gonna start. He's gonna get special abilities, of course. It's Harry Fox YouTube. What do you think it's gonna be? But before he unlocks his special abilities, he's gonna have the abilities of an Uchiha. He's gonna be born with his Sharingan activated, but of course he can deactivate it. Blah blah blah. And we're gonna have a little twist, believe it or not. But anyway. He was born with his Sharingan activated. All the abilities in Uchiha has, like, how they're just a natural talents 90% of the time. It's ultimate, like, he's that, but way, like, better, like, way stronger, etc. Like, he has way more, natural talent. And that's it, really. And also, all the stuff the Sharingan can do, like, copy jutsus, like, battle reaction time, see the flow chakra, genjutsus, he can do it way better as well. That's just the base. Anyway, let's jump straight into this video. We start on a night, a very dark night. A night that was meant to go down in the history of Konoha as the darkest day of history for Shinobi. It was the Nine-Tails attack on the Hidden Leaf Village. But the fourth Hokage was preoccupied, giving birth to his son. In this, Minato was half Uchiha, half Namikaze. And Kushina was half Hyuga, half Uzumaki. That's why he's the ultimate Uchiha. He got a good mix. But anyway, Naruto's born. I'm gonna keep Naruto's yellow hair because why not? Or you guys decide. I'll either keep Naruto's hair yellow or he can have black hair. And Naruto's born. The fourth Hokage picks him up from the nurses, and he looks in his eyes. The Sharingan's already activated, and it's through Tomoe at that. He's just absolutely shocked, like, already a Sharingan. Incredible. He's definitely the future of the Uchiha and the Shinobi as in general. But then, the Nine-Tails attacked. It dived down, but Minato's not the same Minato. He has a Sharingan. And he just has not more natural... Actually, yeah, he has more natural talent than in canon, but it's on top of his other natural talent that we see actually has. So, unlike before, he isn't barely dodging or this and that. He's absolutely dodging around the Nine-Tails with ease. And I'm going to say he has actually quite a bit more chakra than in canon. That base chakra. So, he manages, everything goes the same, and then when he fights Obito, it's unlike canon where it was a last second Prolong Rajan and slam to the back. He was absolutely clapping him, and Minato does have a Magenki or Sharingan. But I'm not going to reveal his abilities too much. Except for just when Obito thought he was going to land a punch, he felt his body freeze. And before he knew it, he was pummeled into the ground, knocked unconscious. But before Minato could do anything, a weird black substance comes out of the ground and sucks Obito into it. Obito is dealt with. Due to this, the control of the Nine-Tails was fading. It was still there partly, but it was fading very, very quickly. And yeah. So of course he was scrapping with him, and he decided to do the Repedestal, but the improved version. With his Sharingan, he analysed as many seals as there were, and he actually improved in the Repedestal. It didn't kill the user. It just took 99% of their chakra, and it would take them like a week to recover. And bruh, you're on silent. What are you doing? Well, my mum's laughing as I put this on silent. Yeah, now I just cut silent mode off. You're on silent. Shut up. Anyway, guys, yeah, sorry. So Minato does the Rupa Pedestal, and he slices up Kurama, of course, with the Rupa Pedestal, and seals the entirety of him inside Naruto. And this was because due to 99% of his chakra being taken, he didn't have time to split the soul into two, and then sit one inside him, one inside the other. But Kushina did die from childbirth, and this broke Minato for now. He didn't let it show though. And by the time the third Hokage finally arrived, it was Minato holding his son, crying. We're now going to skip to 6 years later. Naruto is now 6 years old. And you know how attached he was when he was a kid? Like just strong, cool. That was Naruto times 1,000, bruv. And by now, Minato is mostly over the death of Kushina. Not over it, he still remembers, but he's not depressed about it. And Naruto, due to his insane intellect IQ, he can remember when he was about 3. His father, outside, his father would smile, be happy. He's the fourth Hokage. But inside at home, he would just cry. He thought Naruto couldn't see him, but Naruto could. But now when Naruto's about 6, he hasn't seen his dad cry for roughly about 2 years. And he doesn't seem sad and all that. But there's one thing that he has noticed about his dad. He does go over the top with training Naruto. And Naruto assumes this was because something that was meant to take him roughly nearly a year to learn, 300 days to learn, 1,000 days to learn, he learned it in a day. And if you guys watch the show, you know what 1,000 days means. And thinking of this, Naruto's walking through the forest and a massive, massive bear appears. I mean like, not even gorilla, I mean like a Sasquatch, like a Bigfoot thing. I'd say minimum 20-foot bear appears and it lunges at Naruto. As Naruto is thinking about the jutsu that he mastered in a day, he thinks, you know what, I might as well use it to get some practice in. He pulls his hand backwards and a blue orb appears in his hand. He yells, Rasengan! And he slams it into the ball. The ball gets sent flying backwards. Naruto is a special case. His Sharingan at then was activated. But the thing is, when he has his Sharingan activated, it doesn't drain his chakra at all. So if he really wanted to, he could have his Sharingan activated 24/7. Which he does most of the time when no one's looking. As when he does have it activated in public, people are a bit wary. Because they only know about Uchiha, who... When the only Uchiha who had the Sharingan activated are ready for fights, ready to kill. And by the way, by now the Uchiha massacre has not taken place, as Minato is there to negotiate. And as he's walking further into the forest, he finally gets into his spot. Kakashi's there waiting with Sasuke. Not Kakashi. Itachi is there waiting with Sasuke. Naruto's face lights up when he sees this, and he rushes over and rugby tackles Sasuke and pins him to the ground. Him and Sasuke are already best friends, and they both get taught by Itachi, who unlike Hanan actually does teach him when he promises to. Although Sasuke is not as natural of a talent as Naruto is, due to having Naruto there to rival him, his progression is about 10 times faster than it is in canon, at least at that age. And today, they was learning about a different type of fire style, or they was going to learn how to do the great fireball jutsu. I'm just going to say they was learning how to do the fireball jutsu. And of course, when it first happened, Sasuke wasn't as small as it was in canon. It was about Itachi holding back. When Itachi did it as a kid, it was about that. But when Naruto did it, Itachi had to activate his Susanoo secret, actually. Yeah, I'm still saying Shisui is dead, not dead. Shisui isn't dead, but Itachi does have his Magenko Sharingan, and I'll explain how. Itachi had to actually activate his Susanoo at the last second without anyone noticing, even Naruto, just to block some of the flames. Naruto lit a good portion of the forest on fire, and before Itachi even got to deal with it, Naruto did more hand signs and just water style, water dragon jutsu, and a massive one appears. Itachi seeing this just smirks, thinking that kid's gonna be a monster. But after they get to practice their fire style a little bit, Naruto goes back home. They do his training with his father. He practices seals with his father. How to seal chakra, how to open a seal, how to half open, etc. And Naruto is amazing at seals. And he's trying to practice putting seals on without even touching someone. But he's not fully there yet. And Naruto gets told that when Naruto has his... I'm going to say when he's in 4 years. Naruto gets told that in 4 years he has to train as much as he can, as he's going to join the academy tomorrow. And he's going to be in the academy for 4 years. And if he manages to get the perfect score, Minato's going to teach him one of his strongest jutsus. Here this made Naruto ecstatic. So we're going to time skip, my bro, to the last day of the academy where they're getting their... What's it called? When they're getting their examinations. Of course, Naruto passed it with flying colours. And so did Sasuke coming in second. Sasuke challenges Naruto to a fight for the last day. But Naruto declines and says we'll do it tomorrow. Like whenever no one's in the academy, like we can set up properly. And Sasuke immediately agrees. That's when Mitsuki walks over to Naruto and says, I have a message from your father, Naruto. He said that, keep in mind, Minato is the fourth Hokage. He says, your father said that if you can break into his office without him noticing and steal the sacred scroll sealing, you'll automatically be promoted to Jonin. And hearing this, Naruto is ecstatic, as that does sort of sound like something his father would say. Although he is intelligent, he is a bit blind when it comes to his father, as all he ever really wants in life is to make his father proud. So of course, he breaks into the Hokage's office effortlessly as Minato is walking out on a 5-minute break, and he nabs the sacred scroll ceiling and sprints off. He's in the forest waiting for Mitsuki to come, who's meant to be coming with his father, and he thinks, you know what, while no one's here, I might as well open the scroll. And that's what he does. He opens it, and with his Sharingan activated, he memorizes every single jutsu, except for ones that he couldn't understand the language. He could understand parts of it with his Sharingan, but it was in a weird language. But one thing that he could read underneath it was, the Sharingan needs to be at a darker stage. It needs to be empowered by hatred to read this. Foreshadowing. Of course, Naruto does a handstand and makes an actual copy of the scroll, but he shrinks it down. I'm just talking out of my ass because that's what I want to do. So he makes a copy of the scroll and he shrinks it down to, like, you know the scientific ninja tools, like they have them tiny scrolls. That's the size of the sacred scaling scroll, but Naruto can resize it anytime he wants. That's when it finally happens. Iruka shows up, yet of course they're not going to be disrespectful to him. Naruto hasn't had to deal with that. He hasn't had to be dealt with demon child. He gets Konohamaru's treatment. Oh, the young lord, etc. He goes, Naruto, what have you done? Why did you steal it? And Naruto immediately says, Mitsuki said that if I steal it, I'll be promoted to Jonin. Hearing this, Iruka doesn't at all doubt Naruto for a second and immediately believes it. And he realises what's gone on. He pulls out a kunai and Naruto gets back ready to fight, thinking Iruka's about to shank him. Just for Iruka to turn around with his kunai and slam it into the massive Sharingan heading his way. Seeing this, Naruto is very confused and he sees Mitsuki standing there. Mitsuki's giving him a whole speech and then he finally says, you nine-toes brat. Iruka yells, no, Mitsuki, don't! But Naruto just says, so what? I'm the nine-toes Jinchuriki, you don't think I know that? I'm the fourth Hokage's son, you twat. Now come down here so I can beat the shit out of you, you scumbag. Keep in mind, Naruto's 10. Hearing this, Mitsuki gets annoyed and says, you got a quiet mouth and just because you're the fourth Hokage's son doesn't mean I'm gonna spare your life. He chucks a kunai at Naruto, who with his Sharingan now activated, easily weaves out of the way. And he just starts laughing and says, is that really the best you've got? Mitsuki chucks another one and another one and another one until he's only got one left. And Naruto, unlike dodging, he's actually run at them. He jumps off one of the kunai to spin and catch the other. And actually, with the kunai still spinning on his finger, he spins round and cuts the other massive kunai in half. Iruka and Mitsuki are just flabbergasted. It's one of my favourite words. At seeing this 10-year-old kid move like a legendary Sanin. Maybe even at Hokage level. And Naruto says, is that really the best you got? Still swinging a massive kunai on his finger. And now, due to practicing shurikens and all that with Itachi, he's great at this. He pulls out one of his own his tiny shurikens, which he has because his father gave it to him, saying you always need to be protected. And he chucks the massive one. Mitsuki dodges, but Naruto also chucked 2 tiny ones. Iruka easily dodges them as well, thinking they were a bit obvious. But unknown to him, he chucked them shuriken at the exact right time, perfect accuracy, to where they spin, and just before they connect, they catch the end of the massive kuna, making it spin back around like a boomerang. Mitsuki is standing there thinking, saying, for someone who was moving so effortlessly and like easily past the journey level, that was sure obvious. Wait, it's a trap! But before he can react, he looks down to see the massive kuna implanted into his stomach. He coughs up blood and pushes the massive shuriken out of his stomach, coughing up blood. He says, damn it, I didn't want to use this power, but I have to. I'm sorry, Lord Orochimaru, forgive me if I've broken your rules. Mitsuki starts screaming in agony as his curse mark, which we find he has later in the series if you watch canon, spreads around his body, and he becomes a sort of like tiger-like creature, and his wound heals. Seeing this, Naruto is intrigued, but he could just feel bloodlust he hasn't ever really felt before, shroud over his body, and he isn't afraid. It's just, he knows that this fight isn't going to be easy. And he's thinking in his head, think. I need to match that. Naruto isn't scared, he's thinking of the way he can match it. He's like, he just had a whole transformation, what am I meant to be doing? Think. I need to transform, I need to get some sort of dark power. And that's when he hears the voice. Kid, why don't you use my power? He enters his own mindscape. By accident, he got dragged in by the Nine-Tailed Fox. And he just stands in front of the cage. And it's Kurama standing there. And Naruto says, oh, so you're the Nine-Tailed Fox. Nice to meet you, I'm Naruto Uzumaki, / Uchiha. I want to be called Naruto Uchiha, but my father named me Naruto Uzumaki after my mother. Kurama just laughs and says, for a kid your age, I thought you'd be terrified of me. And Naruto says, no, I've already read about you. And my father told me about you as well. From what I interpreted, you're not evil, you're misunderstood. Hearing this, Kurama freezes up. He was planning to scare Naruto into using his power so he could slowly lose control, but now he's actually flustered. This is the first time someone hasn't automatically been terrified of him or assumed he was just pure evil. And Kurama goes, damn it, kid, just take some of my power, this is the only time I'm giving it to you for free. Naruto openly accepts it with open arms as red chakra seeks out from Kurama and wraps around Naruto. Back into the real world, Naruto looks like he's about to charge up Ki like he was in Dragon Ball. And the red cloak surrounds him, and his eyes turn into fox eyes mixed with the Sharingan. And he roars as a shockwave ensues. This alerts Minato to where he is. Of course he had a flying Raja mark on him, but he didn't want to use it. It betrays his trust. But yeah, 1 second, I'm very confused. That's 20. Oh, so we're about 18 minutes right now. Seeing this, Mitsuki and Iruka both recognise it as the Nine-Tailed Fox chakra. But he's 10. How can he control it? He must be going berserk. And Naruto cracks his neck. Oh, I had to do it. Wait. Can I get the other side? Yeah. He cracks his neck and then cracks his knuckles. Oh. My neck gonna crack, guys. Sorry. There we go. You got a little one. And he says, it's time to show you what a real beast is. Naruto, remembering some of the jutsus he saw earlier, jumps in the air and screams, multi-shadow clone jutsu. They all appear with their Kurama eyes, but not the cloak. And they dive down on Mitsuki. They're just, you know what that means? Fight back. That's what's happening to Mitsuki. He's literally getting slapped up from all directions. Even with his curse mark healing factor, he's getting hurt quicker than he can heal. And that's when it happened. The real Naruto wraps his legs around Mitsuki's neck and launches himself in the air using wind-style gale palm. Wind-style gale palm. That was actually not what you think it was. I have a speech impediment. I understand what it sounded like. It is not what you think it was. It was actually me trying to say gale palm. I think it's called. Not gale palm. Yeah. But Naruto sends himself flying into the air and spins, yet again using the same technique on Mitsuki's stomach, sending him flying down. Mitsuki's stomach, sending him flying down in the ground, creating a crater. And then he uses Rasengan again, but something's different. All the shadow clones use their Rasengan with him. He's like, I never had this much chakra before. And he hears the voice from Kurama. I told you, kid, I'm quite useful. And Kurama says, and Naruto says to him, you're not useful, you're helpful. You're not an object or a tool. Hearing this, Kurama goes quiet again. This brat has a better way of thinking than 99% of like grown men that Kurama's ever met. But back on topic. These purple Rasengans in the hand are flying down. They use Rasengan, but they all turn purple. And they fly down. Every single one creates a massive boom and a massive explosion. And Mitsuki dies. He's laying there with his body all shredded, disconfigured, like all them like it's shredded up. But you can recognize his face. That's when Minato finally arises to see his son in the Nine-Tails choke chakra. He pulls out Kunai ready to fight, just to see Naruto look at him and smile. The cloak quickly disappears, but so does Naruto's consciousness, and he passes out. He wakes up in a hospital, no injuries, but he just wakes up tired, with Minato sitting across from him sleeping. He laughs and takes a chance to test out a new jutsu that he's trying to try. He does hand signs, but he breaks down every water jutsu he knows. This is a Naruto Uzumaki special. Water manipulation. Naruto's focusing with all his as much as he can, and he's making a ball of water flow from beside him to right up a Minato, and he drops it. Minato jumps up with a screech, and he looks at Naruto and looks down and sees him soaked. He goes to yell, but instead he just smiles and says, "Thank God you woke up." Last time we left off, Naruto used the Nine-Tails Foot Chakra to absolutely beat the hell out of Mitsuki. Because he tricked him, and when they beat the hell out of him, Mitsuki's dead. Dead. But then Naruto passed out because he overused his chakra and woke up in hospital, Minato waiting there for him. But we're going to have a little time skip of 2 hours. Naruto's out of the hospital. He has black hair, by the way. You guys voted on that in the comments. He has black hair and blue eyes, and he's an Uchiha, but he still goes by Naruto Uzumaki. And Naruto is rushing as he remembers the promise he made Sasuke to have a fight with him the day after. And he gets to the training ground 10 minutes late. Everyone is there waiting for him. And says Naruto is always normally early, never late. And when he shows that, Sasuke screams at him, "How can you be late? You promised!" And then Naruto immediately tells him, "Shut your shut the hell up, bruv. I was late because I was in hospital." Sasuke immediately panics, saying, "You're in hospital, you're right." And Naruto tells him to shut up, stop being a pansy, and just get on with the fight. Ino's going to be the referee, by the way. Ino's the referee who's going to decide when someone wins or loses. It begins. Both of them rush at each other. Sasuke has his Sharingan activated, but he's only at one Tomoe in each eye. And he got this through constant training. But neither of them have activated their Sharingan yet. 1 second. So guys, someone's bare heavy footed in my house, and they don't know it when you're recording. When someone's recording, you shut up, you don't go down the entire stairs. Oh, I can't wait to move out of this house, I'm not even joking, guys. Anyway, back on topic. They begin. They rush at each other, and keep an anti-jutsu to begin with. Naruto, of course, is superior to Sasuke, but that does not mean at all that Sasuke is weak and terrible. If Naruto lets his guard down, Sasuke will get a decent hit on him. But unknown to Naruto, Sasuke's been training in secret. It's actually using his Anbu connections got Sasuke to actually train with Might Guy. So Sasuke's taijutsu is actually on par with Naruto, if not greater. And this has thrown Naruto off completely. As what he was expecting to be an easy fight, he's actually getting hurting. Well, he's landed, I'd say, roughly about 2 solid hits on Sasuke. Sasuke's landed about 10 on him. Seeing this, Naruto gets aggravated, and for some reason this emotion links to his power, which we know happens to Uchiha, and his power flares for a second, and he ducks beneath Sasuke, and with his eyes glowing red, not a Sharingan, they were just glowing red, not Kurama either, he decks Sasuke hard in the stomach. Sasuke flies back, and he's holding the stomach. He coughs up, spit and everything, but he just slowly stands back up, holding the stomach. Quickly getting over this pain, he gets ready to fight again. What was that? Naruto's movements had increased. He got hard, he got stronger. Sasuke, of course, thought this meant Naruto's been holding back the entire time. Naruto himself was confused, but he ignores this. They decide to amp it up. They both activate their Sharingan. This, of course, gives Naruto an advantage, because he has a 3 Tomori Sharingan, while Sasuke is just at 2. Just at 1 in each eye. But this doesn't discourage Sasuke, and he rushes at Naruto. Just like before, Sasuke's abilities were over Naruto's in taijutsu at least, and they made a deal not to start with jutsu unless it gets serious. Like they're both their fights dragging out. This is just a fight to see who's physically stronger. And even with his Sharingan activated, he's still finding it hard to keep up with Sasuke. That's until he feels a weird burning sensation in his eye, and he actually yells at it. This catches Sasuke off guard as he sees something's wrong, but this is a fight. Naruto is someone who taught him, even if your opponent seems hurt, you go through till that you win. So he follows through with a punch. But Naruto, for some reason, he can hear, "That's it, Naruto, I'ma get you." And something tells him that he's going to get a punch straight at his face, and he ducks out the way. Keep in mind that he's holding his eyes now, he shouldn't have been able to see this. This confuses everyone. And Naruto rubs his eyes as the burning feeling fades. His vision seems clearer, more adept, better perception. And he can find something weird. He can hear everyone's thoughts in a radius of him. Some people who are farther back, he can't hear theirs. But I'd say everyone in a 10-meter radius, he can hear their thoughts. But Naruto's the ultimate Uchiha. Normally, if this was another way, I'd make this hard for him to control. But he just sort of knows how to narrow it down. And when I mean he can hear their thoughts, it's more of it's not the entire thing. He can hear parts of it. But when he focuses on someone in his direct eyesight, he can hear everything. But also, he can know what they're about to do. And he hears Sasuke's entire plan. Rush at Naruto, hook. When he ducks down, knee his face. And then spin kick him and end it with a hidden lotus. Naruto has no clue what the hidden lotus is, but he's prepared for the rest of it. He's in battle, he's been trained by his father, no matter what, you're always battle ready. So even if you're absolutely terrified of what's about to happen, you're battle ready. And as such, Sasuke rushes at Naruto, and before his fist is even in full rotation, Naruto dodges out the way. He only needed to know one move to finish this fight, as that is how great of a ninja he is. As soon as he dodges and weaves, knowing what Sasuke is going to do, he's in the perfect position. He sends a bunch of chakra to his hand, like Sakura and Tsunade does, but he has a very flimsy grasp in it to make himself stronger. And he full speed, full power, pelts Sasuke's chin, knocking him out. Everyone who saw this was confused, as this fight ended a lot quicker than they thought it would. And it almost seemed like Naruto didn't touch him. He just hit the perfect spot, with his Sharingan, of course, that's a perk. And the fight was over. Naruto was declared the winner, and as he got home from the day, of course he took Sasuke home and that, and Itachi congratulated him, but as he got home, Minato was waiting there with a smile on his face. Naruto with his Sharingan activated, I told you, he sometimes keeps it activated when he wants. Reads his father's man straight away, and all you can hear is, "Time to teach him the Flying Rajan." Hearing this, before Minato even speaks, says, "You're gonna teach me the Flying Rajan?" Minato is confused, and he's like, "How did you know?" Of course, Naruto, always known to keep your special moves, like your hidden abilities, to yourself, says, "Well, you did tell me if I passed my exam first place, you'll teach me your strongest jutsu," and I assume that is what it is. And yeah, Minato immediately says, "Well, I should have guessed you'd figure it out, knowing you, Naruto." "Correct. I'm going to teach you the best jutsu in my arsenal." And not the team, by the way, they suck. Minato opens up the scroll, explaining the Flying Rajan, and Naruto with his Sharingan immediately understands it. He places his hand on the wall, before Minato even gets to explain the concept, and his own version of the Flying Rajan still is there, and he runs out of the house and teleports back to it. Minato's just baffled at this, and thinks, "How? That technique took me hundreds of days to finally grasp and figure out, and you did it in mere seconds." And Naruto says, "Well, I am your son, Dad. The next generation has to at one point surpass the old." And Minato smirks and says, "I guess you're right. Don't know why I'm confused, I should be proud." And he fist bumps Naruto, saying, "Well done." A week passes, and the academy's giving out the teams. Naruto gets announced Team 7. Sasuke Uchiha, Naruto Uzumaki, and Sakura Haruno. Keeping them the same team, guys. Of course, everyone else gets their teacher, and they get given Kakashi Hatake and Itachi Uchiha as a supervisor, or like a assistant teacher, like we get in school. 1 second. People don't know how to shut up! Sorry about that, guys. Yet again, heavy. I don't even know you can hear it in the video. But the one thing I asked in this house, when I'm recording, be quiet. But no one listens to it. And now, if any of these guys who are watching this make YouTube videos, you know how frustrating this is. But what annoys me more, they all say they're quiet. Which, if you're not going to be quiet, at least just admit it. Anyway, getting off topic. Well, I'm not going to go on around. So yeah, they have Itachi as like a assistant sensei, basically. And that was at Itachi's request, wanted to supervise Naruto and Sasuke, as it's rare for two Uchihas to be on the same team in this day and age. But with that, what's it called? Kakashi was an hour late, and Naruto did the same prank, but it's way better this time. It's it's a rubber, and then if Kakashi managed to catch it and let his guard down, a massive bucket of water will drop in his head, and he falls for it and gets soaked. Kakashi with this smiles a bit like, just wait till your exam, I'm sending you back to the academy. And Naruto just laughs it off. He knows Kakashi, as Minato being Kakashi's sensei, they've met a few times. And Naruto can understand that this is sort of a joke but sort of isn't, as you can see the vein bulging. Anyway, they go to the field. We're not going to have that, you need to wait till 1 AM, oh you're going to be sick and don't need breakfast. They go straight to the field. And they get told, blah blah, they don't pass, they get sent back to the academy. And he specifies, even you Naruto, being the fourth Hokage's son doesn't get you away with it. Naruto smacks and says, I wouldn't have it any other way. When he gets told when Kakashi told them they should probably run, only Sakura runs, but Naruto and Sasuke already told her the plan. She only has one job, and not to mess it up. But it's Sakura. And Naruto and Sasuke stay. This intrigues Kakashi, as normally everyone listens to him when they don't use teamwork at all. But not these two. As he says begin, they both rush at Kakashi, throwing hands with him, bro. They both have their Sharingan activated. Kakashi's actually quite impressed at the level of taijutsu in these two. As in that week, Naruto also started training with Might Guy partly, but also on his own. And he has a little conversation with Kurama, but nothing massive. But each time they warm up a bit. They're throwing hands, and Naruto decides he wants to practice his abilities from earlier. He focuses chakra into his eyes more and more, and this time he doesn't get a burning feeling, and he hears Kakashi's fall. So these two kids aren't that bad. And he just hears the straight punch, grab, slam on their back, stamp, go underneath the ground and grab. But the first one is overhand. And before it happens, Naruto yells, Sasuke, overhead! And Sasuke looking up sees Kakashi's body ready to rotate. This catches Kakashi off guard as he swings with the overhand, of course, and they both dodge it perfectly. Then Naruto says, Sasuke, jump and kick! Just as Kakashi's body was getting for the spin leg sweep. So they easily dodge over it and they kick the side of Kakashi's head. They both hit their land just to see Kakashi's fist blocking both of them. That's when Naruto hears Kakashi's plan change. Okay, grab their hands and then slam them. Naruto, not being it, no, Sasuke wouldn't be able to get out in time, does hand signs. Wing Gale Palm. And he launches him and Sasuke backwards just before Kakashi to grab them. They both whip out Kunai and both rush back. Kakashi is confused. No Genin should be able to move like this. It's like they know what he's thinking. And Naruto has the perfect plan set out, so they put it into action. He sends a shadow clone at Kakashi without Kakashi knowing, and that starts keeping blows. As long as he can dodge with predicting Kakashi's move, he'll be fine. And that's what he's doing. Even though it's a shadow clone, it hasn't been destroyed even once. And this is very aggravating to Kakashi, as although he's getting blows in Sasuke, this one brat, even though he's the fourth Hokage's son, he shouldn't be this good. And he just cannot get a blow on him. It's like Naruto knows what he's going to do next. until finally the shadow clone fought on purpose, and Kakashi slashes it with a kunai. Meant to only give it a little gash, but it poofs. That's when Kakashi realizes, oh, it was a shadow clone. And Sasuke, with this small second of distraction, gets a time to lunge with his kunai right at the back of Kakashi's head. Kakashi, not expecting any of this, creates a shadow clone, which he was not planning to do at all. He was planning to not use any jutsu to grab Sasuke's hand. But Naruto launched himself with that Boruto, what he does with the Wingale palm, right at Kakashi. Kakashi barely blocked this in time and actually gets grabbed both Naruto and Sasuke, holding him in a grip. And that's when Sakura comes in, imbuing all her chakra into this kunai. As she has decent chakra control, which we know from canon, she chucks it, and at full speed, it actually hits the shadow clone holding Sasuke. This impresses Kakashi the most. He already decides that they passed, as they've used teamwork like he demanded. And Sasuke, instead of going the bells, swings for a kick at Kakashi holding Naruto. Due to this, Kakashi has to block, letting go of Naruto for 1 second. And instead of trying to get away, Naruto wraps around Kakashi's arm so he couldn't use it. And the other one is blocking against Sasuke. And Sasuke wraps around that one as well. That's when it happens. 3 shadow clones of Naruto bust out the ground. 2 of them holding onto Kakashi's leg, and the other one rips away the bells. And with that, they pass, with teamwork and being the first team ever to successfully steal the bells. After this, I'm rushing through. They get given a 2-week rest period where Naruto and Sasuke just train relentlessly with Might Guy. And Might Guy even introduces the concept of 8 gates to Naruto and Sasuke, but Sasuke couldn't really grasp it. But Naruto was on the verge of breaking through the first one. And that's when they finally get given their mission. Due to it being the 4th of Kage, he understands Naruto's capabilities, and although he doesn't want to seem like he's giving them favoritism, he does. It's his son, what do you expect? And he gives them a B, C, D... He gives them a C rank mission. I had to remember the ranks. Or escorting a bridge speech impediment. Escorting a bridge builder to the land of waves. When the bridge builder arrives, he shows respect to Naruto, unlike canon, as Naruto isn't like him, he isn't short, he's actually tall, he's not malnourished in this one. His dad makes sure he has all the requirements he needs. And Sasuke doesn't get called an emo brat. Sasuke isn't emo. He has his dad, his mother, his older brother, his entire clan. Sasuke is similar to Naruto in his happiness. And of course they get told to escort the bridge builder, and so they do. As they're walking, Naruto notices a puddle. Sharingan's still activated, of course, as he sort of got deactivated, if I'm honest. And he sees the puddle, and he can sense chakra in that puddle. And he decides to ignore it, putting everyone to the test. And as the two sound village ninjas jump out of the puddle, Sasuke gets ready to fight, and Naruto looking one of them in the eyes, gets very bored and says, "Ugh, I wish you would just fight amongst yourself. I wish you would just deck your teammate right in the face." That's when the glow in one of the sound... what are they? As the glow in the sound ninja's eyes... Sorry. The glow in the sound ninja fight... Oh my god, guys. I'm gonna hurt something. As the glow in the sound as a glow in one of the sound ninja's eyes fades. Oh my god. The glow in one of the sound ninja eyes fades. As he looks a bit lifeless, like he's being controlled. And he looks at their brothers, they're the demon brothers, and he swings full force and nails him in the chin. And then with his claws out, digs his claws into the person's stomach. Naruto's confused. He says, "What? Why did they turn on himself?" And Naruto says, "What disregard for loyalty? What scumbag? He should just kill himself standing there." And that's what he does. He tears his own throat open. Naruto soon realizes that he controlled this person. Remember, he's the ultimate Uchiha. I told you he's gonna get some abilities. And watching this, everyone froze up a little bit. Like, not everyone, I mean just Sakura. And that's when Zamazu's sword comes flying overhead. Naruto, of course, in this one, taking this as a challenge, he jumps up and grabs onto the blade, actually pulls him back and spins him about. But it's fine. He places a flying Raja mark onto the blade, and he lets go of it just to swing to the ground and catch himself. That's when it happens. Zabuza, one of the legendary swordsmen, lands on the blade and says, "Interesting." They turn on each other. I wonder what happened. And he looks down to see Naruto, and he recognizes the eyes and says, "An Uchiha." And he sees the logo on the back of Sasuke, and he says, "Another Uchiha. But interesting, an Uchiha with bright blue eyes. No, you're the Golden Flash's son. I mean, the Yellow Flash of the Leaf. I don't need to get paid enough for this. I'm not gonna start a war of the Leaf Village over a brat." And Naruto says, "Why, are you scared?" This ticks Zabuza off, and he says, "I don't care whose son you are. No one attempts to make fun of me and gets away with it." He lunges down at Naruto, but Kakashi intercepts it, as he cannot let Naruto get hurt or get seriously injured, as Minato would be on his case. But Zabuza is different from canon. Where there was no instability in the Leaf Village, he trained even harder, as the Leaf Village shinobi were strong. So he was put in a lot more dangerous situations. So he is a bit stronger than canon. And with his blade intercepted, he puts all his weight on it, meaning Kakashi gets thrown off balance, and he spins around and roundhouse kicks Kakashi, knocking him out. Sakura has a mental breakdown, panicking, saying, "Oh no, our sensei, he was our only chance." This pisses Naruto off, and he runs and decks Sakura hard in the nose, knocking her out. Says, "I'm not in the mood for people to be whining." Anyway, let's get down to business, as he looks up as a dead in the eye. Where we left off, it was quite an interesting cliffhanger. Naruto figured out that he could actually somewhat mind control people, but he hasn't figured out fully how to yet. So he made the two demon brothers that attacked them basically kill each other. But then Zabuza attacked. But Zabuza was stronger than in canon. Mainly just because he put a bit more effort into training Haku. And with that, we're going to jump where we left off. Due to Zabuza's sudden growth in strength that Kakashi wasn't expecting, by no means is Zabuza way stronger than Kakashi. He was just caught off guard. Kakashi was then knocked unconscious. Due to Sakura really annoying Naruto, because she was having a mental breakdown after Kakashi got knocked out, thinking she was going to die. Naruto spun around and decked her square on her nose, knocking her unconscious and breaking her nose. Now all caught up. Naruto was laughing his ass off, saying, "Oh, you don't know how long I've wanted to do that." And seeing this, Sasuke was just absolutely baffled. Naruto, what the hell? Naruto automatically replies, "Sasuke, if she was having a breakdown, she'd just distract us. Now we don't have to deal with her issues. Meaning we can focus on the battle in front of us." Seeing this, Zabuza is actually laughing himself, and this is a rare occurrence. "You're interesting, brat. You belong to be hanging around with me. I'll train you to be the most deadly ninja in the world." Naruto says, "I appreciate your offer, but I really am." He flares his Sharingan, intriguing Zabuza, saying, "I heard the rumours. So you are the fourth Hokage's brat, but you've already annoyed me enough now. I don't care if I get the entire Leaf Village on me, I'm going to kill you." Naruto says, "You're welcome to try." Him and Sasuke, with their teamwork on par, rush at Zabuza, throwing combos after combos. Zabuza's actually finding it quite difficult to keep up with them. And Haku watching in the background, actually a masked man watching in the background, quite impressed with their teamwork. That must have took months and months and months of training, even years. And it was showing, as they were actually landing decent blows, and they decided to up a notch. Sasuke activates his Sharingan and they both pull out kunai. That's where Zabuza gets serious. He starts using his sword. He swings it round, just for Naruto and Sasuke to block it. But Sasuke, not being as physically strong as Naruto, he got thrown back a bit. But no problem. Naruto was ready to catch him, which he did. That's when it happened. Haku flew out of nowhere with his sunbon, but Sasuke was ready, and he blocked all the attacks just to get tackled to the ground by Haku. Haku with a kill strike ready, going right towards Sasuke's jugular. Sasuke couldn't react in time, but Naruto could. and he came with a massive boot to the side of Haku's face, sending him flying into a wall. And he turns back to Zabuza. Sasuke, now ready, will be able to keep up with Haku, and their real fight begins. Naruto focuses on Zabuza, runs about, throwing combos after combos, practicing different types of jutsu, majestic flame, flame claws, lightning style, lightning dragon. I'm making up jutsus, by the way. And he's throwing these all at Zabuza, and Zabuza's getting overwhelmed more and more as seconds go by. To the point he panics and he screams to Haku for help to help him, but Haku was caught up with his own. They underestimated these two Genin. For what they thought would be an easy kill, Sasuke was actually putting a lot of pressure on Haku, to the point Haku finally activated his Ice Prison Jutsu. Now we get to the point where we're being canon. Except for Naruto's forward and Zabuza. Naruto's speed and strength is just increasing more. But he's slowly becoming more and more stressed about Sasuke and concerned. As he's seeing it, as you can see through the gaps, he saw Sasuke with a bit of blood in him, which is a rare sight to see, unless they're training against each other. But Naruto has confidence in Sasuke, and he says to himself, inside himself, it's fine, Sasuke doesn't need your help, he can do it. And as such, he rushes towards Zabuza. He starts unleashing more and more jutsus and reading Zabuza's mind. And Zabuza swings his blade round at full speed, just for Naruto to dodge it as it's in a half rotation, and wrap around Zabuza's shoulder. If you guys are watching my latest What If, you know what's about to happen. Naruto spins his body with full force, dislocating Zabuza's shoulder. But Naruto knows this isn't enough, and taking Zabuza's blade, lifting it and swinging it with full strength, he completely cuts off Zabuza's arm. Zabuza screams and he falls to his knees, holding his now missing arm in his hand. Hearing this, Haku panics and goes all out against Sasuke. At first, Sasuke thought this was easy, but he soon gets overwhelmed as Senbon impels him from side to side, and he screams for Naruto to help him. Naruto panics, and using his flying Rasen to teleport to Sasuke, gets there just in time to swipe away all the Senbon before they hit Sasuke's vital organs, like vital spots. He looks at Sasuke and sees Sasuke covered in Senbons, about to fall unconscious. He goes to catch him, but Zabuza breaks through the Ice Prison Jutsu and slams Sasuke's head into the ground. Seeing Sasuke's what seems to be lifeless body, Naruto explodes with anger as Naruto's chakra seeps out from within him and his Sharingan changes. Now guys, you're going to get to choose the pattern of Naruto's Mangekyou Sharingan, like we always do, but it's going to have a special ability. Naruto roars with just insane amount of chakra, and all these images of Sharingan are flashing through his head. And by what I mean by this, every single Mangekyou Sharingan. And all these patterns are flooding through his head of Sharingan, but their patterns are weird. Some have weird curves, some seem to be a star pentagram, some he just looks like a very big kunai. And as it's speeding through, Naruto slams his hand in his own mindset and slams his hand into one. Naruto's eyes open, gleaming, as it's just as it's a full wheel Sharingan, and it's just spinning constantly. With this, Naruto's perception changes as his eyes speed to the right, like clockwise, but faster. Naruto's speed increases insanely as he rushes towards Zabuza and grabs his head and slams it into the concrete, picking it up. Haku rushes at him just to get Zabuza's body slammed into his. Then, one of Naruto's other eyes spins the opposite way, and Naruto's perception time slows, but his speed stays the same. Everything is slowing down until it seems like it almost stops. Naruto walks over to Sasuke with tears in his eyes and places his hand on his heart. That's when he feels it. A heartbeat. Although time has stopped, it seems that Naruto has somehow kept Sasuke alive with this, even though he should have bled out by now. Due to time being slowed, Naruto has a chance. Still covered in the Naruto's chakra, he hears a voice in the back of his head. Naruto, use my chakra and heal him. He places his hand on Sasuke's chest and pours this red chakra into him. All the senbon on his body fly out, and one even cuts Naruto's cheek. But this doesn't bother Naruto, as I quickly would heal. And all the open wounds on Sasuke's body closes. And he believes that Sasuke is going to survive. And he gets up. He pulls out a kunai. 2 kunai to be precise. And he walks over to Haku and Zabuza, placing his kunai in both of their hands. And he unfreezes time. They both fly towards the wall. They both get up and immediately ready to fight, just to see Naruto's eyes stare into theirs. And their body freezes up. This is unlike before. Naruto has a somewhat better control over this. Although Naruto's controlling their movements, they still have their own mind. And they go, what is this? And Naruto just laughs lifeless like a maniac, saying, "You want to take my friends away from me? I'm going to take what's dear away from you, but you're going to do it yourself." They begin to march towards each other with their kunai pointed outwards. Now they both have each other's kunai placed on their neck. They're both begging Naruto profusely not to do it. And at this time, Kakashi and Sakura wake up to see the scene going on. Kakashi's wondering what's happening until he sees Naruto's eyes. He recognises straight away the Mangekyou Sharingan. What happened for this to... And he sees Sasuke lying there in a pool of blood. And at first he thinks the worst until he sees all the wounds there. They're just little blood spots, there's no actual wounds. And he also sees residue of the Ninetale chakra using his Sharingan. He realises what must have happened. Naruto thought Sasuke died. He awakened his Mangekyou Sharingan. And then also used the Ninetale chakra to heal him. What is this kid? And then Naruto says, "End yourselves." Both Haku and Zabuza swing their blades round, slitting each other's throats at the same time, leaving both their bodies lifelessly falling down. Naruto's eyes quickly return to normal, and he falls backwards. Kakashi catches him and says, "I know that feeling. You must be drained after using that ability, or your ability, whatever they were." Seemed pretty interesting. Keep in mind, Kakashi didn't see Naruto's abilities or anything like that, and he doesn't know that Naruto's actual abilities that's not actual Naruto's Mangekyou Sharingan. Naruto wakes up in a bed at the bridge builder's house with a brat they didn't even recognise. The brat immediately thanks him and says, "Thank you, blah blah blah, you avenged my father," but this doesn't matter to Naruto. He immediately runs out into the bathroom and looks at his eyes. They seem to be normal, his normal Sharingan. And then he looks up and sees the selection of eyes he can choose from. He chooses the same one he chose before, and he looks in the mirror. And it appears again, the same spiral pattern. I must say it looks a bit like Indra's Sharingan, but it's different basically. So yes. And with this Sharingan, its ability is he can increase his own speed and strength as long as the longer his eye is spinning, the faster it's spinning, and on the other eye he can speed up and slow down time. Quite a broken ability for a random selection. And he walks outside to see Kakashi there waiting for him, leaning against the wall. Kakashi says to him, "We need to talk." So of course Naruto marches off with Kakashi deeper into the forest. And Kakashi says to Naruto, "I know about your eyes, how they changed." And Naruto at first tries to deny it, but Kakashi says it's no use. "I know what it is. It's the Mangekyou Sharingan. I'm sure you've heard of it before. But when someone goes through such a traumatic experience like you did, there's a chance it will awaken. Normally you have to kill someone close to you, but I guess in your opinion, where you're special." Sorry, I had the yawn. Hearing this, Naruto is confused. How does Kakashi know so much about this for someone who isn't a full-blooded Uchiha? And that's when he sees it. Naruto's eyes widen as Kakashi pulls up his own headband to reveal his three-to-mo Sharingan. Naruto knew about this. That was until Kakashi's Sharingan changes form into Kamui. I think that's what it's called anyway. Basically Kakashi's Mangekyou Sharingan. Naruto looks at his eyes and recognises the pattern and looks up at his selection wall that's there whenever he has his Sharingan activated. He sees the option and he clicks it. Kakashi is absolutely stunned to see Naruto's Mangekyou Sharingan pattern change into his. And Kakashi just asks him, what? Naruto explains what he sees, and he cycles through every single option he has. He has every single Magenko Sharingan possible. At least to what we know of. He can even copy other stuff that we don't know of. And because of that, Naruto seemed to be dangerous. At least in Kakashi's Tomoshi, but not dangerous to the village, dangerous to the others. But immediately, Kakashi demands Naruto, he requests Naruto to show off his abilities. And the first one is the same to Kakashi's. He can create a weird time-space distortion that grips stuff into it. On the next one, he can make his body intangible, which Kakashi tests out by launching a punch at him that just goes through him. And then Naruto says, I think I can go into wherever we sent that stuff. Kakashi is quite amazed and says, okay then, do it. And Naruto does. He zooms into the Kamui time space just to see a man, well, not really a man, just to see more of a teenager sitting there. Well, actually no, they'd be Kakashi age, wouldn't they? Just to see a masked man sitting there writing out a plan on the ground, and one of them was kill Kakashi. This orange masked man turned around, baffled to see this black-haired Uchiha in his humble abode, shall we call it. And that's when he sees his eyes, and he's completely stunned. You have my Sharingan, how? We all know this to be Obito, but Obito attempts to run, but Naruto doesn't let him. He rushes at Obito and swings his hand. Of course, his hand phases through Obito, and Obito tries to get away, but Naruto activating his own phasing makes him and Obito intangible, able to interact, grabbing onto his leg and swinging around, slamming him into the ground. And he gets on top of him and pulls out a kunai and demands to know who he is. Obito is still stunned by this. Says, impossible, what are you? Naruto, looking up, sees that his selection is flashing. It's almost like it's going to select their own one that suits the scenario. And that's what it does. I'm going to say it selects Fugaku Sharingan, Itachi and Sasuke's dad. And I don't really know what his abilities were, but I'm just going to make it up. With this, Naruto can make with this Sharingan activated, no one can lie to Naruto. That's one of the abilities. And whatever Naruto asks them, they must answer truthfully. And they get put in a paralysis type strain. Naruto says yet again, who are you? Obito left with less attitude in his voice, more like a lifeless robot. My name is Obito Uchiha. Obito Uchiha. Obito. And Obito. I don't know how to say his name, god damn it. Obito, I'm not going to say that. Obito says his name, and then Naruto says, what are you doing here? Why is Kakashi's name on the ground? Obito replies, he killed the love of my life. Now I'm going to kill him painfully. Hearing this, Naruto's a bit stunned, but it comes with being a ninja. You obviously kill people. Naruto brings Kakashi into the time Kamui dimension, and he rips the mask off Obito. Seeing his face, Kakashi has a breakdown and he falls backwards. Not breakdown, he's just stunned. He says, that's my old teammate. He died saving me. Interesting. Naruto says, what is your plan? And Obito replies, revive Madara Uchiha. Revive the Ten Tails. Activate Infinite Tsukiyomi. Steve Rin again. Naruto takes Obito out of this genjutsu for him to come to reality. To see Kakashi's there standing, he starts screaming, no, the plan's ruined, years and years of plan for revenge, and it's ruined in mere seconds. No, I can't let this happen. He attempts to run away again by using Kamui, but Naruto just negates it. And that is until Naruto feels a very, very evil presence behind him. An old man with white hair, staring him down, somehow breaking into this presence. Obito says, that's Madara Uchiha. Here a bit earlier than planned. but it'll work. Naruto recognizes that this isn't someone he can beat, grabs Kakashi and runs away. Obito thinks, damn it, that was my chance to get revenge. But Madara says, damn it, we're gonna have to take action sooner than I thought. We now have to Naruto and Kakashi, who have run from the Kamui dimension. Naruto was drenched in sweat. Although he could tell that that man wasn't at his full power, it was far above him. But at the same time, there wasn't only fear, there was excitement. Finally, a challenge. Naruto didn't mean this to be cocky, but his entire life he's been raised, wow, amazing, this and that. Not once has someone ever been able to truly stand against him, except for Itachi, but that's a bit iffy, as neither of them have never went fully out against each other. With this, Naruto knows exactly what he needs to do. He needs to train. And so that's what he does. After Kakashi informs Minato about Obito, Minato remembers that he had a flying Raja mark placed on that masked man. He wonders, could that be the same? He shakes his head and ignores it. Even if it is, it's not the right time to use it. Let me for once keep my cards to my chest and see how this plays out. Naruto, who was on his own, training relentlessly, testing out all his new Sharingan, all his new this and that. He hears a voice in the back of his head. Naruto. He gets sucked into his mindscape, and Kurama's there. Naruto says, "Oh, so you're finally talking to me? It took you long enough. After our last few conversations, you went quiet on me." Kurama just pretends he isn't bothered by this, but Naruto could see Kurama was sort of flustered. Naruto says, "Anyway, Kurama, what you got for me?" Kurama looked very intrigued. And says, "What? How did you know my name?" Naruto replies to Kurama, "Well, I thought you would have been able to tell. I can read minds. I can sort of say everything about you. So I can tell that you're Kurama, the nine-tailed fox, created by the sage of the sixth pass, split out from a beast who was originally a 10 tails." Naruto gets him ranting on, and it freaks Kurama out, and he says, "Okay, shut up. Anyway, I brought you here today because your training is a bit pointless. If I recognized that person you saw correctly, that was Madara Uchiha." Naruto says, "Yes, I know." Kurama says, "Brat, shut up. Stop interrupting me for once in your life. If that was who I think it was, we're in a world of trouble. That Madara Uchiha was able to control me with ease. Absolutely demolished the Leaf Village if he wished. And the only person who could stand against him was the first Hokage Hashirama. And no offense, kids, you're nowhere near his level." Naruto says, "No offense taken. But what's the point of telling me that I'm not strong enough? That's just a bit demoralizing." Kurama replies to this and says, "That's where I come in. I've been watching you over these past few months." Naruto goes, "Pedophile, pedophile." Kurama tells him to shut up. A chakra explodes from Kurama. This gives Naruto a bit of a whiplash and he shuts up. Kurama says, "Well, anyway, where I was from before, I've been watching you these past few months and it's about time. I believe you're strong enough to start serious training with me. And someone else. If you can find him, it would make it a lot easier. He has white hair, not Kakashi. And he has red lines on his face. If you can find him, this would make our life a lot easier." Naruto agrees, and he rushes through the village just to get stopped by Kakashi, who's with Sasuke and Sakura, and he informs them about the tuning exams. Hearing this, Naruto gets a bit ugh, and Naruto says, "I'm sorry, Kakashi, but I've got to decline." This pisses Sasuke off more than anyone. He's like, "What do you mean you decline? It was our chance to fight without holding back." Naruto says, "Sasuke, I appreciate you wanting to be my rival and compete with me, but if you couldn't tell, I don't really care about what my rank is. I care about how strong I truly am. So if it means I have to give up on becoming a Chunin or Jonin, then I'm going to give up on being a Chunin or Jonin, if it means I can get stronger." Because keep in mind, Naruto's number one dream isn't to be Hokage. Well, it sort of is, but it's not as big as before. As Naruto has nothing to prove that he... The only thing Naruto has to prove is that he's worth all the praise he gets, but he's basically proved that already. So now all he really has to do is get stronger. So he declines. He continues rushing through the village. And he's thinking, damn it. Where would he be? After a long day of searching, Naruto gives up, for now, and decides he's going to go to the hot spring to just relax. As he's walking there, he sees an old man with white long hair peeking on the girl's bathroom. Naruto's duty as the fourth Hokage's son is to stop this. So he rushes over and says, "Hey, you old pervert, stop it." As we all know this to be Jiraiya, he turns round. Naruto, looking at his face, hears Kurama scream in his head, "That's him! That's the legendary Sanin Jiraiya!" Naruto looks at him with disgust, saying, "This man is the legendary Sanin. I don't believe it." Jiraiya told him to buzz off. He didn't really recognise Naruto. Remember, Jiraiya's still his godfather, but he barely seen Naruto. He didn't recognise him that much. He didn't get a good look, it was just a glimpse. Naruto grabs Jiraiya by his hair before he can react, which surprises Jiraiya. No one's ever normally been able to sneak up on him. No one's ever been able to sneak up on him except for maybe Orochimaru or Minato. And Naruto flings him by his hair. He thinks that's disappointing until Jiraiya lands perfectly. Now that he's got a better look at him, Jiraiya recognises Naruto and he goes, "Wait, are you Naruto Uchiha?" Naruto's eyes flare red with the Sharingan, saying, "I'm Naruto Uzumaki, in honour of my mother's clan." Hearing this, Jiraiya's face dims down a bit, remembering Kushina and what she stood for, and he, instead of arguing with Naruto, he actually apologises, as he understands that Naruto, hearing everyone refer to him as an Uchiha, must hurt him deep down, as no one remembers his mother, just his father. And Jiraiya says, "I'm sorry, Naruto Uzumaki. You're the fourth Hokage son, ain't you?" Naruto goes, "Yes, you know my father? I didn't think my father would associate with an old pervert like you." Hearing this, Jiraiya gets a bit knocked on the head and he's like, "Associate? He didn't only associate with me, I taught him everything he knows." Naruto starts laughing and he says, "Really? For someone who's laughing, I bet you can't even understand the principle of the flying Rajan technique, but your father could master it." When he says this, Naruto teleports right behind Jiraiya, using the flying Rajan. He placed a mark on him when he grabbed him by his hair. Seeing this, Jiraiya is impressed and excited and says, "I heard the rumours, but I don't think it was true. You really did master that flying Rajan technique. What about this?" Jiraiya puts his hand to the side as a Rasengan forms. Naruto does exactly the same thing, but he adds lightning chakra nature to it, and the blue consistently goes a bit more white, as little sparks of electricity appear around it, and Naruto shoots it towards Jiraiya. Jiraiya says, "Interesting," but the Rasengan soon fades, and he says, "Well, that was disappointing," until he gets nailed in the stomach. Jiraiya barely gets back up on one knee, holding his stomach, thinking, "Damn, so you had lightning style to Rasengan? It becomes a vanishing Rasengan?" After seeing that Naruto could add lightning chakra nature to Rasengan, Jiraiya made him cycle through all of them, and unknown to Naruto, Jiraiya was actually training him. As although Naruto couldn't actually add all the chakra natures to his Rasengan, after this one day, he got the foundation to do it. And where it wouldn't be a full fire Rasengan, it would be orange at least, and would actually cause burns, but it wouldn't be nowhere near what Naruto was hoping for. After seeing what actually happened, realising he was getting trained, Naruto agrees with Kurama that this is the man to train him. Before Jiraiya can do anything, Naruto places 2 fingers on Jiraiya's forehead and sucks him into his mindscape. Jiraiya lands on his ass in Naruto's mind, just to see the Nine-Tails Fox in a cage without much of a seal on it. He immediately springs into action, preparing to steal the Nine-Tails, launching it just to get his ankle grabbed by Naruto and slam back into the ground. Naruto says, "Relax, old man. Me and Kurama are calm." Kurama looks away with not really a blush, but more flustered, thinking, "We're not calm. It's just a necessity that we work together. We both want to survive." Seeing this, Jiraiya's flabbergasted. The Nine-Tailed Fox flustered by a mere boy. But anyway, Kurama explains to both of them that they need to skip the tuning exam and spend 5 years outside the village training with Kurama's guidance and Jiraiya's guidance. And Naruto immediately agrees, taking at least Jiraiya off guard. What Jiraiya says to him, listen Naruto, I get you want to be stronger, but I'd at least wait 2 years. I don't mind taking you a 3-year training trip. At least spend these next 2 years with your family, your friends, build memories. Naruto interrupts him after memories and says, I would normally agree with you, but you don't know what I've seen. Naruto activating his Sharingan shows Jiraiya what he saw. As soon as he sees that there's Madara Uchiha has been resurrected, he immediately agrees and says, maybe not even 5 years, I'd rather 6. When do we leave? Kurama says, tonight. Naruto, I wanted to tell you this. Make peace with all your friends, tell them that you'll be back in 5 years, and say goodbye to your father. Naruto does not at all argue with this, and he does exactly what it says. He informs everyone, including his father, that he's leaving. And then, the last one, he goes to the Uchiha compound. When Sasuke opens the door, he rugby tackles Naruto and says, Naruto, you came. I'm still pissed off at you for skipping the Chunin exams, but at least you can help me train. Sadness comes into Naruto's eyes, and Sasuke recognizes it, and he says, what's wrong? Itachi watching from a tree jumps down, also seeing the sadness, and says, yeah Naruto, what's wrong? Naruto informs them both that he's leaving the train, because there's a very strong enemy coming. So he looks at Sasuke and Itachi saying, I recommend you both train to your full extent. And Sasuke, when I get back, if you're not a Jonin, you're not going to get to spar with me at all. Sasuke was at first sad and knew that Naruto had to do this to protect the village, which is duty as not only a Leaf Village Shinobi, but as the 4th Hokage's son. His only son at that. So, it happens. Naruto leaves the Leaf Village, with Jiraiya and Kurama in his head. 1 year passes. At this point, Naruto is beastly. He has perfect chakra control. He can easily add all the elements to his Rasengan. And he's masters of thousands of jutsus. And he's also nearly mastered half of his Magenko Sharingans. As he sticks with one until he masters it, and then he goes on to the next. Ones he's found the most useful are Kamui. He's the first one that he originally awakened. And many more. Okay, the one that I'm just going to have to call it is... I'm going to just say them by their name so we see them. The ones that he's mostly mastered is Itachi's one, which he saw from Itachi. Obito's one, Kamui. Indra's one, the one with the spiral that I said lets him control time because I was taking a guess. And Fugaki's. And he's mastered these basically because he can. What else can I say? And with his abilities, actually I'm going to give you abilities at the end. And now it's Naruto's, I'm going to say, 12th birthday. Or should I say... Yeah, it's his 12th birthday. And when he's in a dream, the night he turns 12, he's dreaming. And a mysterious man with purple eyes comes to him in his dream and says, Naruto Uzumaki, your destiny is coming sooner than you think. Naruto wakes up in a cold sweat. Kurama, somewhat recognizing the chakra but couldn't pinpoint it, he says, that's similar to that old man. No, that's impossible. He passed on years ago. Now we skip another month. Naruto's taijutsu is insane, and with the guidance from my guy before he left the village, Naruto is now able to open up to the 7th gate in the 8 gates, and for some reason there's not much strain on his body unless he pushes it too far. And now Naruto has perfect control of nearly every Magenko Sharingan, except for one, Sasuke's one. Naruto don't know what Sasuke's one, but we do. And that's because something just always put him off about it. But now that it's his 12th birthday, he decides he's going to train it. By the way, Naruto has not unlocked his Susanoo yet. Now we go into the 2nd year. In this year, Naruto is, like I said, the 7th. Now we're going to go into the 3rd year. By now, halfway through it, Naruto's mastered all his Magenko Sharingans. And that's when it flashes on his search bar. More options have appeared. Internal Magenko Sharingan options of all of them have appeared. And they haven't replaced the old ones, they're just a lot larger list now. Naruto using these realises that the abilities are far stronger, the chakra gain is way less, and he can use this weird chakra ribcage. Now near the end of the 3 years, nearly onto the fourth, Naruto is mature now, he's about 14, nearly 15. And he's just beastly. He can now use all 8 gates, and with Kurama's guidance he's even unlocked the 9th. That is where he activates every single one in his body, including his heart. And then using his chakra, like the place he stores his chakra, he opens that as well. This allows Naruto's chakra to flow endlessly, but we're not going to get too far into that. Naruto, now at the start of the 4th year, and we're going to skip like 6 months each time. The 6 months skipped, Naruto and Kurama have finally begun working together and integrating their chakra, and they finally managed to pull it off, KCM 1 and shortly after KCM 2. Naruto has also nearly matched out his Susanoo. He's on the part before they get wings. He's on the stage just before perfect Susanoo. And then we're at the end of the 4th year. This progression was a much slower for Naruto, as there was not much else he could learn. That is until Jiraiya pulled out the offer of Sage Mode. And Naruto finally unlocked the final level of Susanoo. In the last year, Naruto trained Sage Mode to the max and even get some summonings. And if you're wondering what summonings, you're going to find out soon. And with that, Naruto begins training Sage Mode. Within 6 months, he's a Master Sage. And he gathers Sage energy naturally, doesn't even need to try it. And his Sharingan also unlocks more abilities. He can sort of see the weakness of his enemies, and I mean by he can see the weaknesses. They're glowing. Naruto believes this is the pinnacle of his Sharingan. That is until he finally manages to perfectly integrate all 3 chakras. His regular chakra, his Sage chakra, and his Nine-Tails chakra. When he does that, by the way, this is at the end of the final year. By the time he does that, more options for his eyes open, but they're blurry. One is purple. One is purple with patterns. One is red, one is blue, one is yellow. And there's just so many, but Naruto didn't get the option to. They're on their way back to the Lily Village now. That's when Naruto feels it. He's going to be 16 soon, by the way. A surge of danger runs down the back of Naruto's spine. He flying Rajins everyone to the Lily Village, just to see dead bodies everywhere. No one that he really knows, just citizens. But thankfully the Lily Village isn't too destroyed. And that's when he looks up into the sky. A man is floating there with a cloak on with red clouds and purple eyes and orange hair. Jiraiya, when he sees this, his jaw drops and he says, impossible. He's meant to be dead. Seeing this person, Naruto doesn't freeze up like Jiraiya does. He knows what he has to do. But before he can do this, as we all know this to be pain, he yells, "Almighty push." Naruto can see this with his Sharingan, a massive wave of chakra coming down. And he knows what he has to do. He flies upwards with his Susanoo activated and swings his blade at it. The Susanoo blade shatters, but it also stops the Almighty push, and Naruto just recreates it. By the way, right now he's using Shisui's Susanoo. He's actually changing it up. And yeah. Oh, I need to check what part I'm at. How many minutes? Oh, 20 minutes, guys. And now he's standing face to face with this person who just tried to destroy his village, killed his people. Naruto is pissed and he's ready to show it. Naruto launching himself up using, I don't know, wind style, keeping himself afloat using that. Looks him dead in the eye and says, "You, who are you? What do you want?" Who we all know to be Pain, I'm going to say, says, "This world shall know pain." And he launches out of rod towards Naruto. Naruto launches his hand back at it and snaps the rod, but he feels his chakra get drained by it. But he completely ignores it, and Naruto says yet again, "I'm not going to ask a third time. Who are you?" Pain replies, "I am pain, I am torment, I am everything you dream of, or have nightmares of." Naruto's had enough of these riddles, and before Pain can launch off another attack, Naruto decks him in the face, sending him flying backwards. This catches Pain off guard. What? Impossible. The 6 paths of Pain, I think it was, all appear out of nowhere, start ganging up on Naruto. This isn't like canon. Although Naruto didn't really struggle with them in canon, Naruto was just breezing through them, absolutely demolishing them. But Naruto's shown no mercy. This man has killed his people. He's going to kill all of his. And as such, Naruto enters his KCM mode, and in a blitz of speed takes out 3 of the paths of Pain. That's when one summons up a weird dungeon thing to heal the others. The King of Hell. Naruto launching down, using Chidori, but changes the style to water. Digs his hand through the King of Hell, and then places a seal on it, so it cannot be used again, at least by Pain. This is alarming to Pain, as his plan is, even if we get destroyed by him, we can just come back constantly. Pain summons up multiple animals, just for Naruto to blow them away with ease. When I mean with ease, I mean it was absolutely nothing to him. Naruto was disappointed. He thought after, I know it sounds wrong, but he thought after all his years of training that his first fight back at the village would be exciting. But at the same time, he has a feeling of like glad and reassurance that even this person who could possibly destroy the Leaf Village was no match against him. Maybe now he could actually stand against Madara Uchiha. Naruto destroys every single path of Pain. Now he's heading for the final one. Until a Kamui pool opens up in front of him and a hand launches out to grab him. Naruto using his own Kamui, changing his Sharingan, which also meant he had to sort of change the Susanoo. He wasn't using Susanoo now, I forgot he deactivated it. He uses his Kamui to fly through this person's hand and even phase through the portal, which he didn't even think was possible, and finally get in front of Pain. Naruto surrounds his hand in just pure chakra and pushes it through this path of Pain. That's when Naruto senses the real location, and he turns around ready to fight, just for this, whatever the hell that was, he was getting it with Obito, to disappear. Naruto was not taking any chances. He used his Kamui to immediately get to Nagato. He was there waiting. Naruto doesn't do any sort of the speech like last time. He doesn't even care. But he sees his eyes and he says, "You, what are your eyes?" Nagato replies, "My eyes are, how do I put this, the Rinnegan, the most powerful eyes in existence. The same eyes as the Sage of the 6 Paths." Naruto, looking up to see the purple option, wonders, and he goes to click it, but not before he hears an explosion behind him. Damn it, I knew I shouldn't have took any risk. Before Nagato can say anything, Naruto pulls out his kunai and absolutely beheads Nagato. To look at his eyes, thinks better not to leave these, and rips them out of his now beheaded skull and places them into a jar and puts them into his pocket. Not pocket, some weird seal jutsu thing. He's just flying rushing to get back to the village to see something he didn't expect. The explosion was actually deflected by the sheer shockwave of Sakura's punch, and there was a blonde woman there who he didn't recognise. That woman was soon named by Jiraiya to be the Tsunade, the legendary Sannin, who had been training Sakura at the request of Minato. Sakura, seeing Naruto, her face lights up, smiling and waving at him, but Naruto looks at her with a bit of Don't think I forgot about all your uselessness. And turns around. He searched around for Sasuke, but can't find him. Oh well, he must be doing something else. Naruto activates his... I'm gonna say he activates the first Magenko Sharingan he ever activated. Indra's Magenko Sharingan. You know, the one that allowed him to speed up and control time? Naruto slows time to a stop and surveys everything around him. He can't find anything. Naruto then smirks as he looks behind him. Just in time for him to throw his time. A Kamui portal opened up, and behind him there was a hand reaching out towards him. Naruto, using this to his advantage, activates one of his eyes to be Kamui. He can pick and choose what Sharingan he uses. Activates one of his eyes to be Kamui and the other one to keep it with his Indra. And with that, he reaches his hand through the portal, as well as his head. He sees Obito. He tries to grab him, but his hand phases through. And he says, interesting, he was planning until the last second to phase, just in case. Doesn't matter. He still hasn't figured this out yet. Naruto uses Kamui like we've seen him do before, makes him and Obito tangible, as when two forces using Kamui at the same time, but using it in a different way, it cancels each other out. So Naruto grabs onto Obito's still masked up face and unfreezes time. Obito flies through the portal, still thinking he's got to drop a Naruto, till he realises there's a hand on his face, and he absolutely gets body slammed into the ground. Obito with his chains spins them round. He doesn't need to pretend to be Madara anymore. He can use the weapon he's most confident with, which is his chains that he uses against Minato. When the first time they meet after years. Naruto jumps up, and he's impressed with with Obito's speed. Obito realizing that he isn't untouchable now, realizes this isn't a fight for him, but he can't get away. Naruto has placed a flying Raja mark on him without Obito knowing, for one. And wherever he goes, Naruto can easily follow. His only choice is to fight until that man arrives. And so they begin. Obito's speed actually seemed to be outpacing Naruto, who has by now left his KCM for him. And Naruto laughs and says, how about you handle my 8 gates? Third gate open. Green... Shouldn't I say green actually? Green chakra radiates from Naruto, opening the third gate, and he starts blitzing Obito, still with his Sharingan activated. Obito's confused. How can someone be so good at ninjutsu, their Sharingan, taijutsu, all at once? Even Obito struggled to open the first gate, but he realised that's what he had to do, and so he did. While Obito was in his first gate, Naruto was in his third, so he was still getting blitzed, and there was pure shockwaves coming from Naruto's punches. People could see this, and Sakura was just purely amazed. She thought, damn it, I thought that after this training I'd be physically stronger than Naruto, but them punches seem to be stronger than mine, and I can tell he isn't even going all out yet. Just what sort of training has he done in these last 5 years? And that massive green monster that I was using earlier, what was that? Naruto is getting a bit bored of Obito, and he decides to end it. And he says, I was planning to take you back to Kakashi so you could talk it out, but you have bored me. Naruto spins round, entering fourth gate for a second, along with KCM. Slaps Obito's face, sending him flying backwards. Naruto appears above him again with Chidori in hand, saying, how about you like this one, Kakashi special, and impels Obito in his chest. And he rips his hand out, just to see Obito heal. What's going on? That's when the ground beneath him starts shaking, and Obito starts laughing like a maniac. Remember, everything in canon that was happening before has still happened. Kabuto getting Edo Tensei's ready, all of that still happened. And that's when they all appear. Except that now it ain't at the battlefield ground, it's at the Leaf Village. Naruto is not having this, and he teleports them all to a wasteland. I'm saying for plot wise it's the same as canon. And he smirks. He sees Madara Uchiha standing there with some other sad characters behind him. He no longer feels fear when he looks at Madara like before. He feels excitement. And when Madara looks at him, Madara just feels curiosity. Obito was busy now preparing plans for the Ten Tails resurrection, so Naruto was able to fight with Madara. At first, Naruto lost all his power-ups. It was just base form, Sharingan. And they're just testing each other out. Madara was very, very impressed with Naruto, who he thought would be a lot weaker than this. He was way above Naruto was way above his expectations. He just thought Obito was a bit weak. He was very impressed that this nearly 16-year-old boy was able to easily keep up with him. Madara thinks you might be able to keep up with this, how about now? But every single time Madara would amp it up, Naruto would do the same. Madara activates his Magenko Sharingan, his eternal Magenko Sharingan, sorry. And Naruto sees the pattern and he recognizes it. And he starts belly laughing. Madara says, "What's so funny, brat?" Nothing, Madara Uchiha, it's just I can do the same. Madara says, "Oh, you have a Magenko Sharingan. Great, it was going to get boring otherwise." Naruto says, No. I just have that Magenko. He activates Madara's Magenko, throwing Madara off guard a lot. And they both activate the same Susanoo. Except, for some reason, Madara can't figure out Naruto's Susanoo is way stronger. And that is due to the simple fact that Naruto has integrated it into everyday training. When he's cooking, he uses the Susanoo arm for another reason. And it's just over time the proficiency that Naruto can use has increased. So, where if Madara's Susanoo hit Naruto's with its blade, yeah, a chip would be. But if Naruto lands a decent hit, it would absolutely decapitate the Susanoo, which eventually happens. And Madara's Edo Tensei body gets hit by the sword sent flying backwards. Everything is going to plan. Naruto is absolutely bodying Madara, which he's a bit disappointed was this easy. And now using his special jutsu that the years of training to put up to, he raises his hand in the air with a Rasen Shuriken. And he using its wind style, of course, and he chucks it right at Madara Uchiha. And as we all know what's about to happen. Sorry, I had to yawn. Madara puts his hand against it as his red eye soon becomes purple, and in a flash of its light, the explosion ensues. Just for Madara to be standing there completely unfazed, with the same eyes as that Nagato guy. And Naruto says, the Rinnegan, this is a lot more interesting. Madara gives a whole speech about how this is the true power. I am the true sage of the six paths. This is real divinity. Naruto's just belly laughing. Madara says, "You, even in front of greatness like this, you still choose to laugh. I admire your courage, at least." Naruto says, "It's not courage, it's confidence." And Naruto says, "But Madara, why do you only have one eye?" And Madara laughs and says, "It's a shame, really. Because of that stupid Obito not meeting my standards, I had to give him one of my other eyes. But all is fair in a game of love and war. One eye is more than enough." Naruto pulls out the Rinnegan that he had in a pot and shakes them about. Seeing this, Madara is excited, ecstatic. But Naruto yells at him, "Before you even think about stealing it, I'm giving you one. It's boring otherwise." Madara takes this as a joke until Naruto whips out of the pot and dashes at him. Madara has never moved as quick as he has. As he jumps and he launches and jumps at the Rinnegan and catches it. And he yells, "How dare you, something as precious as a Rinnegan, and you dash it like it's a bouncy ball." But Madara, now overjoyed, lifts up his hair and places his new Rinnegan in his empty eye socket. Pure chakra radiates from Madara as the Rinnegan synchronize, synergize, and finally become one. And he explodes with power. Madara's like, yes, this is the power I've yearned for, even. Now not even Hashirama could stand against me. You, brat, because of this favour, I'm giving you this one chance. Join me, and the Rinnegan that is in that pot will be yours. Naruto says, huh, maybe I'll take your offer depending on whether my hunch works. Naruto looks at a selection of eyes, or options that are blurry, and he sees the pink one, or purple one, and he says, it's worth the risk, and he clicks it. Madara is in denial of what he's just seen. Naruto's Sharingan quickly changed pattern into the Rinnegan, both eyes. Madara starts screaming, how? Impossible! Someone like you with a Rinnegan? That can't happen. That can't be. Do you activate by... No, this isn't reality. Naruto sees the other options, but decides to leave it for now. And he says, how about now, Madara? Does this seem like a fair fight? Madara soon comes out of denial and into excitement. This isn't going to be as easy as he thought. He's going to get a real fight before he activates the infinite Tsukuyomi. But Naruto's realised something. Before, when he would have certain Magenko Sharingan activated, the icon would be glowing, and all the others would be dark. But now with his Rinnegan activated, all his Magenko Sharingan options are glowing. And he soon realises what this means. He can use every single ability at once with this Rinnegan activated. And that's what he does. The show off to Madara, he slows time for everything around them except for them two. Madara is confused until he sees Naruto's Rinnegan actually glowing a bit brighter. And he says, amazing, so this is your ability. Everyone gets a unique one with their Rinnegan. That's what I'm just saying happens. I don't know if it actually is true. So yours is to slow down the very time itself. Naruto says not only slow down, and all the most people who are running in slow motion actually freeze. Madara just in shock and says, you can freeze time? Incredible! Are you sure you don't want to join me? Us together could end this war in seconds. Naruto says, Madara, you want me to join you when you're not realising something. Out of courtesy, I haven't froze time for you as well. I could freeze you just as easily. As a matter of fact, I could keep you frozen for the rest of the time. And actually, unfreeze time for everyone else. Hearing this, Madara is very, very, very terrified of what Naruto can actually do. He realises that the danger Naruto poses to him, if he can activate this ability once, the war's over. Madara will be frozen in time for eternity. But it could be a bluff. But at the same time, Naruto doesn't seem like the person to bluff. And as such, Naruto uses Fugaku Sharingan ability, the most powerful genjutsu in his... Actually, Shishui's. He can use Shishui's genjutsu and spam to make Madara live out a life where Naruto actually froze him in time as everyone else passed by. Thousands and thousands and thousands of years flew by for Madara as he was frozen in place. He saw the world grow greater than before, technology advancing, and even entities that Madara could never dream of coming to Earth. And that's when Naruto releases the genjutsu. Madara falls to the ground in a cold sweat and says, what? He looks around. Everyone is waiting for him to get up and attack, and Madara realises he was all a genjutsu. Amazing. If you're wondering, Naruto used Tsukuyomi on steroids with that Rinnegan boost. And Naruto looks up. He can sense powerful entities, including one of his old friends coming, and says, the fight begins now. 10 Toes, I summon you. Madara summons up the Gedo statue. And he's already... With the 5 years that Naruto's been gone, every single Toad beast has been collected. And the entire fight that was fighting with Obito and Madara, they was actually siphoning off Naruto's 9-tailed chakra to feed to the Gedo statue. And as that happens, the 10 Toes is formed. Madara using Naruto's 9-tailed chakra, or shall I say Kuroma's chakra, created an incomplete 10 Toes, which he did in original canon as he couldn't get the entire 9 Toes. But with that, the 10 Toes were created, screaming. Thus when everything began to play out similar as in canon. The 10 Toes was there ready to dominate, kill everyone there. And Naruto was there with his Rinnegan activated, ready to stop this killing. The Ten Tools created a Bujidama, or Tailed Beast Bomb, and sent it flying towards them. Naruto went ready with his almighty push, launched it up, and he actually blocked the first one. Naruto said, "Impressive. Let's see how you do against two at once." The Ten Toes then launches two. Naruto unsure if he can stop it, not scared as he's pretty 100% confident his Susanoo can. Before any of that happens, the entire Allied Shinobi Alliance, yes, it's all there. Remember, I'm going to say that already was an alliance, but because the war started, they all finally showed up. They all get teleported away. As Minato finally shows up, he was off with actually Orochimaru. And the first Hokage, second Hokage, third Hokage appear, along with someone that Naruto's been waiting to see, Sasuke. But his face looks different. He looks darker. And he sees a weird mark on his neck, and he's standing right next to Orochimaru. Naruto soon realizes what happened, but he doesn't have time. He turns back to Madara and says, "What now, Madara? Still like your chances?" Naruto says, and Madara replies, "They are supreme. Do you really think 4 more shinobi could stop me?" Naruto says, "Maybe not, but you're forgetting. Each one of them shinobis count for 1,000. And me, I count for 1,000,000. Madara starts laughing, saying, "Quite confident in yourself, aren't you?" And before he can finish, Hashirama appears and launches a massive wooden dragon at Madara, making them two go off into the distance and begin their fight. While everything is going the same as canon. This gives Naruto and Sasuke a chance to talk. He rushes over, but Orochimaru gets in his way and says, "I don't think so." But Naruto is not in the mood. He dodges and weaves, grabs Orochimaru's neck, knees him in his face, seals part of his chakra and slams him into the ground. And he looks him dead in the eye with a death stare. "Don't get in my way." Seeing this, Sasuke was impressed. Naruto was clearly a lot stronger. As if it was back to when they were before he left the village, Orochimaru would have easily killed him just then. Naruto looks at Sasuke with a death glare. "What do you think you're playing at? Orochimaru's little bitch now, are ya?" Sasuke says, "I did what I had to do to become powerful enough to find the cure." Naruto says, "What? A cure?" That's when Naruto sees Sasuke's eyes, the Magenko Sharingan, the pattern that he didn't want to use. He understands it now, it was Sasuke's pattern. But what could have happened for Sasuke to awaken his Sharingan? That's when he realizes, where's Itachi? Hearing his name, Sasuke's eyes glare as a black flame shoots at Naruto. Naruto, using the Nine-Tails chakra, slaps the flame away, catching Sasuke off guard. Did he just slap away Amaterasu? That's impossible. Naruto asks him at the final time, "Sasuke, where is Itachi?" Sasuke explains how Itachi had a deadly illness and is currently at home with Orochimaru in a tube, keeping his health at least sustained until he can find a cure. And that cure is most likely going to be him giving up his life. When he says this, Naruto slaps him at a speed Sasuke couldn't react to, even with his Sharingan activated. And then he does it again and again and again until Sasuke finally blocks. And Naruto says, "See, Sasuke? After slapping you so many times, you finally reacted. I wonder how many times it would take me to give you a speech, to slap you, or for Itachi to say himself, 'What are you doing?' You see how strong I am. Do you really think I wouldn't be able to have a cure for Itachi? Look at my eyes." That's when Sasuke finally notices the Rinnegan. How? Impossible. Naruto says, "With this power I can heal Itachi, but no, you put shame on the Uchiha name by stooping to Orochimaru standards." Naruto at that time stamps on Orochimaru's head, causing it to explode, which quickly regenerates. Naruto glares at Sasuke and says, I'll deal with you later. Right now I have a war to fight. And afterwards I'll heal Itachi myself so you can tell him what you did. So you could find the cure." Sasuke's entire life choices for the past 5 years have just been shattered. Everything he did to find a cure for Itachi was pointless. All the strength that he had gathered, his readiness to give up his own life, to give up his own body and give it to Orochimaru. That was all pointless. But that's not the time to think about that. Naruto is now off fighting the war. He's activated his link with Kurama and he's now running in his Nine-Tails form. And he surrounds it in Shisui Susanoo. Actually, no, he surrounds it in Itachi Susanoo in memory for him. Seeing that, Sasuke is just dumbfounded. How can Naruto change it? How can Naruto use so many Susanoos? That's Itachi's. But Naruto doesn't care. He's running, and while he's running, the legendary sword that Itachi's, I forgot his name, appears in the Nine-Tails' hands, and he jumps and swings down, slices one of the Ten-Tails' tails, sealing it. Naruto, seeing the strength that this weird blade has, he realizes it isn't time to play, and he does the hand signs and absorbs what's left of the Ten-Tails inside himself, making him the Ten-Tails Jinchuriki. His Rinnegan is now glowing with pure power as he's laughing evilly. He's just laughing. You really thought that you could stop me, boy? Look at this power. I am the next sage of the Sixth Path. Nothing can stop me. Madara lunges at Naruto quicker than Naruto would think, and he couldn't react in time. Of course Naruto would be able to block it, but some people didn't think he could. Some people being Sasuke, and Sasuke jumps in the way of the blow, getting his chest impaled. Naruto, seeing Sasuke's body standing there, basically lifeless. Although he was, at that moment, had a bit of hate for him, that was still his little brother. Naruto looked up at his selections. It's happening again. Last time he lost his temper, the eyes were changing. And it goes on to the next stage. The red Rinnegan. Seeing this change catches Madara off guard, and the best he can do is activate Infinite Tsukuyomi right away, and that's what he does. Naruto gets wrapped up in it. He doesn't at all attempt to move, not even affected by the Genjutsu, as his Rinnegan is far superior to Madara's, even the red one on his head. He just stares at him directly in the eye. Sasuke and Naruto, time distorts for them. Mere seconds go by, but for them, it was hours. Floating in a pit of doom. More, Naruto was in his own pit of doom, while Sasuke was in the pit of death. That's when it happens. The mysterious man from before comes to both of them. One to Sasuke, one to Naruto. And he says, we all know what he says to Sasuke, he gets told the same thing. Except if Sasuke gives a different answer, he wants to protect the Leaf Village. And he goes to Naruto. Naruto, I'm the sage of the Sixth Path, I'm sure you know who I am. Naruto laughs and says, pretty sure. Kurama briefs Naruto on that. Kurama briefs Naruto on who the sage of the Sixth Path is. And Naruto says, so you're strong enough to end this war, why don't you? And the sage of the Sixth Path replies to Naruto, well, my time passed long ago. So right now, all I could really give you is pass you my power. I've given your friend Sasuke one half, or at least a piece of it, but you seem to be strong enough to handle the entire thing. Hagoromo places his finger on his head, and the red circle that was there, he slowly peels it off, it was like a weird binding technique. He peels it off and he places it onto Naruto's forehead. Power surges through Naruto like it's never before. This power he's never felt. It's legendary. It's the Sage of the Six Paths. When this happens, Naruto sees all the other 8-tailed beasts on his back, all channeling a chakra into him. And he breaks out of the Infinite Tsukuyomi, Shirokuma Madara. Madara can quickly see the change in Naruto. His chakra's purer, calmer, and also that red circle in his head is a bit distracting. As well as Naruto has a new cloak. He has the Sage of the Six Paths staff in his hand and his cloak on. And Naruto yells at him, no! This is what the Sage of the Six Paths truly is. Hearing this annoys Madara, and he launches one of his true seeking orbs at Naruto, just for Naruto to grab it with his hand and crush it. Naruto says, I can do that too. He creates a true seeking ball orb, nothing, out of nowhere. And he launches it at Madara. Madara launches his own back, and when they collide, Naruto's one absolutely swallows Madara and sends it flying back at him. Madara gets his stomach impaled by the true seeking orb, and he looks down, holding onto his stomach. What? Impossible. I'm Madara Uchiha, the legendary Uchiha, the shinobi who would unite it all. Madara's skin colours quickly return into normal, as the white scales that were surrounding him before quickly seek out of his hand, and it's concentrating to one point. That is the Ten Tails' pure spirit. But doesn't matter. It's floating down towards the ground. Naruto launches up to catch it, but out of nowhere, Kamui pool opens, and Obito, who has been unknown, no one could find his location until now, appears, and he grabs onto it, absorbing it, exploding with power. This is even stronger than when Madara did it. For some reason, it's almost like there was a godlike power. And this was because Kaguya was attempting to take over, now that the Tsukuyomi had been activated. Kaguya was attempting to take over, but where it was quickly changed, a portion of her power had been taken, and she'd been held back for approximately 5 minutes. And that power was absorbed into Obito. Obito opened his eyes, with the Rinnegan activated. And he says, so this is what true power is. He rushes at Naruto, and Naruto barely blocks it in time, but he does. Naruto's Rinnegan's still red, and he decides to use some other ability that he's taking a guess he can use. He puts his hand to the side, and some red particle, like red matter, appears. He soon realizes that this is his Rinnegan ability, making weapons. He creates a chain that is bright red. We know that Otsutsuki. Oh my god. The Otsutsuki clan. I did not look up how to pronounce it, I promise. Yes, we know that some of them can use this. And Naruto wraps Obito in a chain, just for him to explode out of it and rush towards Naruto. Naruto starts getting his ass beat! Mainly because he didn't want to go too crazy, there's just too many people near him. And as he's taking more and more punches, although they're not really damaging him, it is a bit demoralising, or mainly pissing him off. And just before another punch lands, Obito and Sasuke swap places, and then everyone who was standing too close get teleported away, even while still being wrapped up in a tree. That's when it happens. Sasuke lands next to Naruto, with not only his internal Magenko Sharingan unlocked, but also his Rinnegan with Tomoe. Naruto sees that pattern, and he looks up, and he gets unlocked in his screen, but only in red, and he clicks it. Both his eyes become red with Tomoe, similar to Naruto, what Madara had in his forehead. Seeing this, Sasuke doesn't even question it, and Naruto pulls out his vial that has extra Rinnegan in it and chucks it at Sasuke and says, swap your eyes about. Sasuke at first refuses, then Naruto slaps him, rips out his eye. Sasuke screams. Naruto pulls out the Rinnegan and the Sharingan and just slams them together. Using his newfound power, even though these are crushed, he combines them. Remember, he's the new sage of the Sixth Path, and creates new life with it. Then there is another Rinnegan with Tomoe, and he slams it into Sasuke's face. He says, there you go, now you don't need to lose an eye, you get all the abilities with it. Sasuke now with two Rinnegans standing next to Sasuke. Obito's laughing. The plan was for only one of us to have a Rinnegan, but now in this past hour there's been over 4 people who have activated their Rinnegan. Incredible. This war surely is going down in the history books. And the fight begins. Naruto and Sasuke actually start beating Obito about, and it's quite easy for them. Over and over and over again. It's just happening again. Obito's losing his mind. He's taking punch after punch after punch. Naruto using all his Magenko Sharingan abilities, putting Obito in genjutsus where he's seeing Rin. I know it's messed up. Obito's broken. And by the time 2 minutes go past, by the time 4 minutes and 55 seconds go past, Obito's laying on his knees defeated. They think the war is over until Obito starts to bubble up and explode into Kaguya. She looks down and sees Naruto. She hates him most of anything. She can sense Hagurama in him, and she rushes at him. The blow that she throws at Naruto is quite powerful, and nothing he's never felt before. And he wraps around her arm and grabs onto one of her horns and snaps it off. Kaguya screams, launching just an insane amount of wind nature release everywhere, slicing the entire Naruto's body up into little bits. And Naruto's lifeless, mutilated body falls to the floor. Everyone watching this is just in horror as Sasuke breaks down. Kaguya begins laughing, saying, "Finally, my sons, they will die." Then she snaps back into reality. There's now an entire chain wrapped around her neck and a blade pushed through her stomach. It was all a genjutsu. Kaguya, the god of chakra, falling for Naruto's genjutsu. She's pissed. Her Byakugan activates as she makes these chains disintegrate. And she says, "Let me show you what a real Otsutsuki can do." She roars and screams infinitely, creating more and more and more sound waves. The ground beneath them is cracking, breaking apart. Something is different about Kaguya. She shouldn't be this strong at all. And that's when Naruto, with his Rinnegan activated, he can see a weird link. He slams his Rinnegan to the final form. It's golden. There's an eye on his forehead. There's blue sparks in it. And he looks up. He can see the trail just floating to the sky. Kaguya being powered by something otherworldly. And that otherworldly creature has targeted Naruto. Naruto knows he can't waste any time, and using his ultimate move, he places his hand down. His eyes begin to glow as rainbows of colours irradiate from Naruto's hand until it all turns to black, and I mean pitch black. And Naruto says, "Void." He teleports behind Kaguya, places his hand out, and she gets sucked into this infinite black hole. And Kaguya is defeated. That was a lot easier than Naruto thought. A lot easier. That's when he feels it. He's been hit out of his own body, hit out of his own soul, and he's flying through time, flying through dimensions. And he finally ends up in what he believes to be the Otsutsuki world, kneeling before a throne, the throne of the Otsutsuki king. And other than that, guys, hope you do enjoy. That is the ending. Yes, I'm ending it on that sort of cliffhanger. Other than that, guys, if you do want to see a continuation, you have to hit a like goal of 1,000 likes. And I know you're not going to be able to do it. That's why I made it such a good cliffhanger. Hope you guys do enjoy. You did enjoy the series, give me recommendations. It is the end of the series. Hope you do enjoy, guys. Peace out, love, and other than that, enjoy. Bye.